guys, what's up? This is Alba Marie here, and I'm here with a different type of video. And first of all, I want to thank you for even clicking on my video. Today, we're gonna do something a little bit different. I normally do music covers because I love music, and I do believe music is a universal language that helps to heal so many. But during these times in which we're stuck at home, and sometimes it can bring desperation, I figured it would be a really great time to do some self-reflecting, self-love, self-work. And so I decided and was inspired to start a motivational vlog or speaking or episodes. I'm not really sure, but I'm really excited to bring you today's episode, which is our first episode. And it's going to be called Taking Control of Your Mind. I'm going to be looking here because I did some research and I really wanted to talk to you guys about things that I felt were really important. And this series is all going to be about mental health, motivational, I guess, speaking or encouragement, so we can encourage one another during these really, really hard times, right? So without further ado, let's get started. Okay guys, so today's episode, or first video, I don't know what we want to call this. Let me know if you guys have any idea down below. But our first episode that I wanted to talk to you guys about is taking control of your mind. I decided to start with this topic because of everything that's kind of happening right now, because I feel like I deeply need it, and because I feel like I might not be the only one who needs this. So hopefully you guys enjoy it. I have, after all the research I did and the reading that I've done, and from my personal experience, these are 6 things that I feel like can help us regain taking control of our minds. Another really cool thing about our minds is that it's very, very powerful, and it's also very hard to control. And something very interesting that struck me when I was reading the articles and the books was that there's one thing that we all have in common that we experience, and those are negative thoughts. Negative thoughts happen to pretty much, I'll be willing to say, anyone and everyone. And what changes each and every one of us from having these negative experience that sometimes take control of our mind and our body are how we react to these negative thoughts, right? And so being able to understand our mind and being able to understand the things that help us regain control of it, to me, is something that's so important and so very difficult to do. The very first thing that I found during my readings were that we need to be more aware, right? That's the very first point or first advice, I would say. To be able to be aware. What I mean by that is we need to be able to be aware of the things that bother us, of the things that make us tick, of the things that might get our mind a little bit, like I would say, out of whack. One of the things about being aware is you also need to be self-aware. What is that? Being self-aware is taking the time to know who you really are inside, in your mind, right? We have our body and we have our mind, and they say we only use 20% of our mind, and I'm willing to say we only know 5% of it, like truly know. And when you're self-aware, or when you take the time to be self-aware, you're taking the time to understand more about who you are, to love yourself more. And while you're becoming more self-aware, you learn to love your imperfections, because they're the things that make you, you. Once we're able to call out those negative thoughts in our heads, we're able to also say that it's okay. For example, like the other day I was having a not so great day. I woke up and I just woke up on the wrong side of the bed. And I was able to recognize that, right? It took some time. Like, it was a power struggle between what I wanted it to be and what it was. And sometimes you just need to accept that it's that. Because when you accept that that's what's happening, that I'm having, you know what, it's just my mind, my body, something is going on, it's not connecting. I want to be here, but my mind is trying to push me here, because sometimes I feel like your mind toys with you and it just doesn't want to work with you, right? So you know what I did? Because I was home and I was quarantined, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to give you power. I'm not going to give my mind and these negative thoughts power. I'm going to do things that are going to make me relax, that are going to make me happy. And I'm going to enjoy, I would say, my sorrow. There's so much power in feelings. And sorrow and being sad is a feeling. To be happy, you need to know what it is to be sad, right? And I can say that when you're able to recognize strong emotions, whether they're good or not so good, you're able to regain power of your mind and your emotions. And it's a very hard thing to do. I know, I'm an emotional person, and a lot of the times my emotions take control over me, because a lot of the times I can't recognize what's really happening. So when you're self-aware, you're able to do that. You're able to recognize, I'm having this emotion, and the positive behind that is when you're able to do that, then you're able to recognize the thing that's going to help you defeat it, that's going to help you regain control. For me, when I was not having the best day, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna binge watch TV. I haven't done that in a minute. I haven't taken a day to just be how I am and do something that's just equal. Like, sometimes you need a good cry. I don't know if I'm the only one that this happens to, but when I'm sad, sometimes I'll be listening to the most depressing songs. I don't know why. I don't know if I'm thinking that it's gonna make me feel any better, but the truth is I cry like 10 times harder. And I don't know why I do that to myself. And I think it's because sometimes we need to feel these things and we need to feel sad. And so I was in bed all day watching TV. And I enjoyed it. I listened to music, I watched funny videos. I forgot what it's called, but I created one of those, a TikTok. I created a TikTok and I started watching a lot of funny videos. It's really good, guys. So being aware of what's happening to you and being self-aware to recognize that that's happening to you and how to counterattack that is going to help you to take control, right? Take control back and not letting your mind take over you. The second thing, and I'm sorry, I'm going to try not to ramble and talk too long. The second thing is that you need to be able to call out what's bothering you, right? Be aware and know what's bothering you, call it out, and say something positive to replace it. So whenever I'm feeling anxious about X, I call out A and B, two positive things. So if it's that I think my house is a little messy, I'm going to say, well, my house is a little messy because I recorded 2 videos this week, or because I'm starting this new project. Like, these are 2 positive things as to why this negative thing is happening. And I'm then able to see the bigger picture and not just focus on the negative thing, right? And calling it out, I think, is just the biggest thing to do. You call things out for what they are. They help you to recognize the thing that can sometimes be taking control over you. The third thing that I learned that I think is a really good tool or point to use when you're feeling like your mind is just being a little bit frustrating, is that you need to learn to recognize and be able to admit the fears that are lying in your head. And let me tell you something. The feeling of fear is something that's also extremely powerful, because a lot of the times we fear things that we don't understand and that we don't know, well, how to get around it, right? And the craziest thing about fear is that sometimes it's completely illogical. We need to be able to call out our fears and be able to recognize if they're an illogical fear or a logical fear. If it's an illogical fear, you're going to be able to diminish the fear a lot more quickly. But in order to do that, you need to recognize that I'm afraid of being alone all week, because some people are alone. That's okay, and that's not an illogical fear. That's a very logical fear. But when you are able to admit and recognize it and call it out, you also start thinking about the solution to your fear, how to face it. A lot of the times we don't deal with it because we don't want to face it, but when you call things out for what they are, they're a lot more easy to deal with. And when you actually call things out, you'll be willingly surprised to see how much stuff you can come up with. So, like, you know what? Everybody's using Zoom. All bored, all alone. Let's have a white night with my friends. Get drunk and talk stuff. You like talk ish on on Zoom video chat. Like, when you're able to say what you're afraid of, you're able to conquer it. A quote that I will take forever with me, and it's from Will Smith, and I say it so much, and I'm trying to kind of live by it because I think it's just so powerful and so true. And I'm going to share it with you, and I'll probably share it a lot during my series because I just think it's that good. And it's, God put all the best things in life in the other side of fear. So when you fear something, you need to actually face it. And once you do, I promise it's not gonna look so scary anymore, because once you get there, you're gonna realize how brave you are, how strong you are, and you most likely can overcome that fear or conquer that fear. And once you do, that feeling of self-accomplishment, self-worth is something that is pretty amazing. Now let's move on to the fourth thing that I think can really help us take back control of our minds, is having a more mindful moment, or being more mindful. And being mindful or mindfulness it has so many tiers, and it's something that I really, really, really want to get more into. And if you guys want a video about that, let me know. I probably will do it anyways, if I'm being honest, because it's something that is beautiful, that is so powerful, that is so amazing. And I think we oversee, underestimate, don't recognize how important it is. This type of mindfulness that I'm talking about is being mindful of what's happening around you at the moment physically. I'm going to tell you what the definition is, but that's what we're going to be talking about here. Mindfulness is a self-regulation of attitude with an attitude of curiosity, openness, and acceptance. So what mindfulness really, really means is just the fact that you can be more aware of what's happening around you. Or it can also mean that you're being more aware of what somebody else is going through, being more aware of somebody else's pain, being able to put yourself into somebody else's situation. Those are all forms of mindfulness. But in this case, like I was telling you guys before, is, let's say you're going through something that, let's say you're just washing the dishes, right? And sometimes when people have anxiety, I do, and when you're a lot in your mind, like if you're like me, I'm always thinking about stuff, your mind is always racing and it's always thinking about something. And let's say you're washing the dishes and you just get lost in your thoughts, and then you come across a thought that gives you, let's say, anxiety, like it starts making you feel uneasy, overwhelmed. If you're able to just step back for 1 second and start to become more mindful, just think about the water that's running when you're washing the dishes, the soap, whatever it is you're washing. When you start to focus on the things that are happening actually around you, being mindful of everything that is going on around you, you get out of your mind, you get out of your head, and therefore it will help you step back. It's going to help you regain control, because you're no longer feeling all that frustration, desperation, and anxiety that comes when sometimes we get lost in negative thoughts. The last, well, no, there's 6, but the 5th, sorry, I'm talking too much. The 5th thing I want to talk to you guys about is, it's a choice. And no, I don't mean it's a choice that we're gonna feel the way we feel today. It's our choice how we react to the situation. It's our choice how we choose to go about what's happening in our head, and it's our choice how we're gonna face it, right? Whether that means you're gonna ignore it, that's also a choice. Remember, we always have a choice. A lot of the times it's easier to run than to face our fears or to face our problems. And I think these six tasks can help us regain control of our minds and help us understand ourselves a lot better. And when I mean ourselves, I mean body, mind, and soul. So when you feel sad, when you feel overwhelmed, when you feel those negative thoughts are coming into your head, call that out, take a step back, take a deep breath, and think about the choices you have. Don't make the choices, think about the choices. Contemplate them for a little bit. It will also help you to kind of step back and see some more positive than all the negative. Because I think a lot of the times, at least what happens to me, is I focus so much on all the negative and I lose sight of all the positive that lies in front of my face and I'm not even seeing. So choose to take control of your mind. And by choosing that, you're choosing to love yourself more, to accept yourself more, to be free to who you are. And like I said, during these quarantine, I think it's such a good time to do that. Like, how many times do we complain about we don't have time to do this or do that we want to do, or this and that? And God has given us a chance. And I'm not saying this is good, because it isn't. It's pretty frightening, and I can say I'm frightened, and my mom works in a hospital, so I'm doubly frightened. But I choose to see the positive and the light within the darkness. There can't be night if there's no day, right? So when there's night, I have to remember about what I'm gonna have in the day, or all the good things that the day brings. And that's what I mean when I say we make a choice. We make a choice how we're gonna see the situation. And now that we have the time, you get to do all those wonderful things that you couldn't maybe do before because of the way life and society is nowadays. So take this time to work on you, to do things that make you happy. And that's a choice you can make. You could be at home complaining, not being productive. And I'm not saying that's bad, because I love not being productive. I trust. I've been procrastinating this video for a very long time. But I chose today that I needed to get started. And that's why I'm recording this. So choose, guys. Choose, and choose wisely. That's why this is step 5, not step 1. Because I think you do need, you need to be aware, and you need to be more self-aware. You need to be aware of what's happening, more self-aware of who you are and how you can react to what's happening. You need to be able to recognize what's bothering you and saying, you know what, you're bothering me and I don't like it. I talk to myself a lot, which probably means I'm crazy, but I talk to myself to calm myself out. I learned to be able to learn and recognize your type of fear. Is it logical or illogical? Be mindful when you're too stressed about what's going on in your mind. Be mindful about what's going on in your body. Be mindful about what you're doing at the time, even if it's just watching TV. Be mindful of the characters, what they're saying, the joke, what time of the day it is, what's in the house, what color is their outfit. You know what I'm saying? 5, choose to do the best thing for you and what's going to make you happy. Last one, and I left it for the last one because you always end with best thing last, right? And this is something that's really important to me, is God. God has a way of helping you guide yourself through the darkness. And when I mean guide yourself, is because he's always talking to you in here and here, but we don't always listen. And if you have faith in God, and trust me when I say he has faith in you, and he knows what you're capable of, things that happen to us in our lives are going to happen to us. God is here to help us through those things. He's not helped to avoid those things. He's here to help us through those things, and to help us see how strong we are, how capable we are, even though when we forget. And I totally respect everybody's religion. I totally respect everybody's beliefs or disbeliefs. But this is something that for me has really helped me a lot. And it's something that for me, it reminds me about what the day is when I can only see night. Or it's the moon that shines during my darkness and helps me to guide my way. So when you feel like you're all lost and down, talk to God so he can remind you that you're his child for a reason, and that you're more powerful than you think. I do believe that in our mind lies a superpower, and we each are different because we each have a different superpower because we are all different. But in order to understand your superpower, you need to know what lies in your mind. So take the time to get to know your mind, because it's part of who you are, and sometimes we neglect it, and it's such a natural, like you breathe, you forget your mind is the one that tells you to breathe, but you forget that your mind is the one that tells you, you forget, to breathe. Sorry, I don't know what I said there. But anyways, this video is like 20 minutes long now, so I'm gonna end with a quote that I saw online, and I hope you guys like it. It goes like this: the mind is a powerful force. It can enslave us, or it can empower us. It can plunge us into the depths of misery, or it can take us to the highest of ecstasy. Learn to use the power wisely. Like I said, we all have superpowers. We just need to learn to use them. Anyways, guys, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys like it, let me know below. Let me know what else you guys want us to talk about. Also, like and subscribe, please and thank you. But thank you so much for just hanging out with us. This was very therapeutic for me, and I hope that if I feel better, I can make you feel better as well. And I'll probably see you guys back here very soon. Bye, guys. Have a great night. Stay safe and stay at home.